Hey everyone, listen to me right now because what I'm about to say is going to hit you in the chest. There are people in your life who smile to your face, who ask how you're doing, who act like they're on your team, and behind your back, behind closed doors, in conversations you're not part of, they're doing something completely different, saying something completely different, being someone completely different. And if you were born under Virgo, if that's your sign, you need to pay attention to what I'm about to break down because there's activity happening in the shadows around you, conversations, moves, decisions, things being set in motion that directly affect you, but you're not even in the room when they're happening. Okay, I'm Anna, and I'm not here to sugarcoat tonight. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear, even if it's uncomfortable. A lot is happening behind your back. Not all of it is bad, but some of it is exactly what you've been sensing, but talking yourself out of believing. Let me break down what might be going on right now that you're not seeing. Here's the thing about Virgos. You analyze everything. You notice details other people miss. You pick up on energy shifts. You sense when something is off. But you also have this tendency to rationalize away your instincts, to tell yourself you're being paranoid, to give people the benefit of the doubt, even when your gut is screaming that doubt is not deserved. And right now, your gut has probably been telling you something about someone, about a situation, about dynamics that don't quite add up. You've been feeling it, but you've been dismissing it. Stop dismissing it. Your intuition is trying to warn you. It's possible there are people in your circle who are not being straight with you, who are presenting one version of themselves to your face and a completely different version behind your back, who are saying supportive things when you're around and critical things when you're not. Some people are two-faced. That's just reality. They don't have the courage to be honest directly, so they save their real opinions for conversations you're not part of. They smile and nod with you and then turn around and talk about you, not because you did anything wrong, but because that's who they are. You might be dealing with exactly these kinds of people right now, in your friend group, in your family, in your workplace. People who are operating with hidden agendas while pretending to be transparent. Let me get specific about what behind your back actually looks like in real situations. This reflection invites you to consider, have you noticed anyone acting weird around you lately? Pay attention to who gets quiet when you enter a room, who changes the subject quickly, who seems to know things about your business that you didn't share with them, who has information they shouldn't have unless someone else is talking. These are signs that conversations are happening about you, not with you, about you. It's possible people are discussing your choices, your relationships, your career moves, your personal life, and they're forming opinions, making judgments, creating narratives, all without your input, all without your knowledge. Some Virgos are currently being talked about in ways that would shock them if they knew. People they trust are sharing their private information. People they confide in are using that information in conversations with others. People they think are loyal are actually operating with mixed motives. You might discover that someone you've been open with has not been as discreet as you assumed, that things you shared in confidence have made their way to people who have no business knowing them, that your trust was misplaced, and that stings. That's a betrayal. Not a dramatic betrayal, maybe, but a real one. The kind that makes you question who you can actually trust. This reflection invites you to consider who in your life knows too much about you. Here's what else might be happening behind your back. Professional moves. Someone might be positioning themselves for something you wanted. going after an opportunity you mentioned, pursuing a path you opened up, and they're doing it quietly, without telling you, without acknowledging that your conversation is what gave them the idea. It's possible a colleague is taking credit for your work in meetings you're not in. A business partner is making decisions without consulting you. A collaborator is shifting the narrative to make themselves look better at your expense. Some people see Virgos as workhorses, as the ones who'll do the detail work while others take the glory, as reliable and competent but not ambitious or competitive. And they use that perception. They let you do the work and then position themselves as the leadership. You might be experiencing exactly this dynamic, putting in effort and watching others harvest the credit, contributing significantly but being minimized in how the story gets told, being essential but treated as replaceable. This reflection invites you to consider who benefits from your work without acknowledging your contribution. Let me talk about what might be happening in your personal relationships behind your back. There could be someone talking to your person, not just friendly conversation, strategic conversation, planting seeds, creating doubt, positioning themselves as an alternative or a better option, testing boundaries, seeing how much access they can get. It's possible someone in your orbit is not respecting the boundaries of your relationship. They're flirting, they're being inappropriate, they're creating connections that cross lines, and they're doing it when you're not around, when you can't see, when you can't address it. Some people don't respect what others have. They see someone in a relationship and view it as a challenge rather than a boundary. They test, they probe, they look for cracks they can widen. You might be dealing with someone like that right now. Someone who acts respectful when you're present but gets too comfortable when you're absent. Someone who's trying to create intimacy with your partner or your love interest through text, through private conversations, through moments they make sure you don't know about. This reflection invites you to consider, is less than #0. 5# is greater than, has anyone been too interested in your relationship status? Here's another layer: financial moves behind your back. Someone might be making decisions about money that affects you without including you in the conversation. A family member managing inheritance stuff without transparency. A business partner making financial choices without your input. A friend borrowing or using resources that belong to you without asking properly. It's possible there are monetary situations developing that you're not being fully informed about. Accounts you should have access to that you don't. Decisions being made about shared resources without shared decision making. Value being extracted from things you contribute to without fair distribution. Some Virgos are too trusting about money. You assume people will be fair because you would be fair. You don't track closely because you don't want to seem petty or controlling. And that creates space for people to take advantage. You might need to start paying closer attention, to ask direct questions, to request transparency, to verify what you've been assuming was being handled properly. This reflection invites you to consider, what financial situations are you not monitoring closely enough? Let me shift to what's happening with your reputation behind your back. There could be narratives being created about you, stories people are telling, interpretations of your actions that don't match your intentions, gossip that's spreading through circles you're not part of. It's possible someone is framing you in a particular way that serves their agenda, making you seem difficult when you're just having standards, making you seem cold when you're just protecting yourself, making you seem unreliable when you're just prioritizing differently than they want. Some people control through reputation management. They can't control you directly, so they try to control how others see you. They spread subtle doubt. They ask questions that plant suspicion. They share information in ways that create negative impressions. You might be the subject of exactly this kind of subtle character assassination. Nothing you can point to directly, nothing actionable, just a slow erosion of how you're perceived by people who are only hearing one side. This reflection invites you to consider, have you noticed any shift in how people treat you without clear reason? Here's what you need to understand about all of this. Not everyone operating behind your back is an enemy. Some people are just weak. They don't have the courage to be direct, so they operate in shadows. They're not evil, they're just cowardly. But weakness that affects you still needs to be addressed. People who can't be honest to your face still need to be handled, even if they're not malicious. If their behavior is creating problems in your life, you need to respond. It's possible you need to start having some uncomfortable conversations, calling out behavior you've been ignoring, setting boundaries you've been avoiding, making clear what is and isn't acceptable and how people treat you. Some Virgos avoid conflict. You'd rather analyze and adapt than confront and correct. But there are times when avoiding confrontation is actually avoiding self-protection, when being nice is actually being weak. You might be at exactly one of those times, where staying quiet means allowing something harmful to continue, where keeping peace means sacrificing your own well-being. This reflection invites you to consider, what conversation have you been avoiding that needs to happen? Let me tell you what else is probably happening behind your back that's not negative. There might be people talking about you in good ways, recommending you, praising your work, speaking highly of your character, creating opportunities for you without you knowing, defending you in conversations where others try to diminish you. Not everything behind your back is betrayal. Some of it is blessing. Some of it is people who genuinely value you working on your behalf without needing credit for it. It's possible you have advocates you don't even know about, people who shut down gossip about you, people who correct false narratives, people who make sure your contributions are recognized even when you're not in the room. Some souls are loyal. They speak well of you whether you're present or absent. They protect your reputation. They honor your trust. They operate with integrity even when you're not watching. You might have more of these people in your life than you realize, and focusing only on the betrayers means missing the supporters, means not appreciating the people who actually have your back while you're worried about those who don't. This reflection invites you to consider, is less than #0. 5# is greater than who has shown consistent loyalty when they had nothing to gain from it. Here's my advice for navigating all of this. Pay attention. Your Virgo nature gives you the ability to notice details. Use it. Watch patterns. Track inconsistencies. Notice who acts different when certain people are around. See who information flows through. But don't become paranoid. There's a difference between healthy discernment and toxic suspicion, between protecting yourself and isolating yourself, between being wise and being closed off. It's possible you need to find the balance, to trust your instincts without letting those instincts make you bitter, to protect yourself without building walls so high no one can reach you. Some people respond to betrayal by never trusting again, by assuming everyone is operating with hidden agendas, by living in constant defense mode. And that response is understandable, but it's also limiting. It keeps out the bad, but it also keeps out the good. You don't have to choose between total trust and total suspicion. You can be selectively open, can give trust gradually, can verify what you're told, can watch what people do over time rather than just believing what they say. This reflection invites you to consider, how can you protect yourself without closing yourself off completely? Let me close by saying this directly. You're a Virgo. You're analytical. You're detail-oriented. You're capable of seeing what's really happening once you allow yourself to look clearly. Once you stop rationalizing away what your gut is telling you, there are things happening behind your back. Some of them you need to address. Some of them you need to let go. Some of them will reveal themselves in time. Some of them require your immediate attention. Your job is to discern which is which, to respond where response is needed, to release what doesn't deserve your energy, to appreciate the good happening in the shadows while addressing the bad. You've got this. You're more aware than you give yourself credit for. You just need to trust what you're noticing instead of talking yourself out of it. Pay attention. Trust your instincts. Protect yourself. Handle your business. A lot of things happening behind your back. Yeah, more than you probably want to believe. But now you know to look. Now you know to pay attention. Now you know to stop dismissing what your gut keeps trying to tell you. Do with that information what you need to do. Have the conversations. Set the boundaries. Watch the patterns. Make the changes. You're not paranoid. You're paying attention. And that's exactly what you should be doing. Stay sharp. Virgo, the truth always comes to light, and you're about to see clearly.